I'm going to talk about the struggles that I experienced losing over 100 pounds. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Janet, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and make sure that you're hitting that notification bell so that YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, then welcome back to my channel. It took me over a year to lose 100 pounds, and I definitely went through my struggles. So in this video today, I'm going to be discussing the struggles that I experienced, and maybe it will help you with your weight loss journey while being on keto. When I started keto, I had no idea on how to get started, what foods to eat, when to eat. I was totally clueless. I had done every diet in the book prior to keto except for the keto diet. So I was anxious to get started, and with my IBS, I actually thought that this diet may work for me. It was very, very trendy at that time. I feel like it still is, but I feel that the keto diet is a long-term diet for me. I love it. I have had great success in weight loss. Plus, I've had very, very positive health issues get resolved as well too by following the ketogenic diet. So my first struggle definitely was, what foods can I eat? Definitely a struggle in the very beginning. So I made a list. I did a lot of research on the internet. I did a lot of research on YouTube, and I watched YouTubers just like you're watching me in this video right now. I was looking for some ideas on how to get started. So my struggle was definitely figuring out what foods that I can have. So I started out by having the basic keto foods, such as your bacon, eggs, chicken, steaks with butter, salads with heavy fat, dressings. I did the very basics, and I did it clean, and I did that for actually quite a while. I would say the first 6 months, and I had highly successful results with eating a clean keto diet. I recommend starting that way for you to get started, because I feel that it's important to learn what foods are very clean keto. I feel like everything's kind of going towards this dirty keto and these sugar alcohols, and when you're starting out, it just honestly is really too confusing. So that's why I highly recommend starting out with clean keto foods. So what I did is I went off of a main list of keto foods. I'm allergic to all nuts, so unfortunately I wasn't able to have nuts in my keto diet at the beginning at any point in my diet, and I made out a food list of all the foods that I found on the internet, and I will link that description information down below in a link. And from that list, I compiled a food list that I enjoyed. Then from that food list, I then decided to make meals from that list. So bacon and eggs. I absolutely love bacon, so that was an easy go-to meal for me. And then I kind of experimented with a lot of recipes, including those ingredients. As you know, in a lot of my vlogs, what I eat in a day, I include what I ate in order to be successful on keto. I will link that video here for you guys to resort, but I ate a lot of the same foods throughout my journey for the first 6 months, and really had success. So that would be a struggle, and that is what I would do to kind of overcome that struggle, is to compile a list of food that you enjoy. Then from there, do your meal plan. I also struggled with meal planning because I didn't know what was keto, what wasn't keto. So from getting that list and making my own list that of food I enjoyed, then I compiled meal planning from that. And then it just kind of snowballs after that. The more you do it as the weeks go on, it's not going to happen in a day. As the weeks go on, you learn what kind of meals that you enjoy, what meals have clean keto foods, and those are the meals that will keep you full and will keep you on track. So that is what I did to overcome that struggle with meal ideas and with what foods that I actually can have on keto. Another struggle of mine was night snacking. So I also get comments about this where people have struggles with night snacking. I didn't fast at all. I didn't do any sort of intermittent fasting. I kind of ate whenever I was hungry, especially when I first started. I was used to having those 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks. I was eating 5 times a day, like a lot of us are used to. Everybody always explains on how important breakfast is. But you know what? I find that I'm more hungry if I do have breakfast first thing in the morning. So I started implementing intermittent fasting, and when I implemented that, my night cravings for snacking actually went away. So that is one tip that I will suggest if you do night snack, is that I feel like you're maybe eating too much throughout the day. You feel like you need to eat every 2 hours, every 3 hours. What am I going to have next? What am I going to have for my snack? What am I going to have for my next meal? It's a lot of planning, and I feel like it actually gets overwhelming, especially for myself when I work so much. I work a 40+ hour week. I don't have time to be planning and taking all 5 meals with me. I just feel like that's a lot. So what I implemented was doing intermittent fasting. I will have some information linked down below on intermittent fasting. I suggest you start out small and go from there. Start by only having like a larger window of eating, maybe from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know, and kind of gauge it and see how you're feeling. It does take practice. Fasting takes a lot of practice in order for get to like that 18-hour fasting. When you stop eating at 6 and then you don't eat until noon the next day or even later, it's a learning process. I don't suggest starting it right off the bat. Just gradually work your way into fasting, and I believe having 2 larger meals, that is what I did in the beginning. I started out with having 2 meals every day. I still do that. I sometimes will snack, but I mainly stick to the 2 meals per day. And I feel like once you get your calories all in those 2 meals, that you're quite satisfied. You don't have a little, 200 300 calorie meal or snack to tide you over for a couple hours. You're condensing all of that into a 600 calorie meal when you're having 2 meals. And when you're eating that much calories, you will stay full longer. So that is my tip in order to get rid of nighttime snacking. Guys, I also want to talk to you about another struggle that I had, and I still have some days, is getting in my water. So water is so important, just overall health. I always recommend drinking a lot of water, but definitely on keto it is very, very important. It'll help you flush your system out, get rid of any water weight, and just overall health is very, very important. So what I will sometimes do is mix in some Mio with my water. I'll fill it up with ice, fill it up with water, and put some of that Mio in it, and that'll kind of get me on track with drinking water. And then after a few days I can just drink plain water with some ice, right? But water is very, very important. So make sure that you kind of like force yourself. I always have a goal of drinking 2 liters per day of water, whether it's with the Mio or not. That's always my goal, is to drink 2 liters per day. So if you're not drinking your water, now is a good time to start, especially going into summer. Make sure that you stay hydrated, and that is very, very important. So that would be kind of my suggestion on how to overcome that struggle, is to try the Mio or else try some sparkling waters. That's actually another idea as well too. Make sure that there's 0 carbs, and that'll help you get your water intake. Another struggle that people ask me about is that they do struggle with eating differently than their family. So at the beginning it is hard. My whole family is not keto. I'm the only one that is keto in my family out of the 4, and it does get hard, but you have to remember that you have goals. My husband can eat pretty much everything, and he doesn't have to be concerned about a weight problem. And especially with teenage girls, like I don't want my teenage girls on a diet or watching what they eat. Especially right now in their lives. So I don't push it on anyone. Everybody in my household is free to eat whatever they want to eat. I'm the one that buys the groceries and I cook the meals. I try to make them as healthy as possible, getting some fruit and veggies in their diet, which they are very, very good at, I might add, which is surprising. But it is hard, especially when they're having maybe one of your favorite meals that you enjoyed prior to keto. But always keep in mind that you can keto-fy almost any sort of meal. You just have to really think outside the box and remember that you have goals, and you know, you just gotta practice kind of weight loss. Weight loss, it doesn't just happen overnight, and if you do slip up and have something that your whole family is enjoying, then that's fine. Just the next day, maybe make sure that you're planning to be back on keto or whatever diet that you were on, because you need to stick to your goals, and I'm afraid that the only one in control of that, it's gonna be you. That's the only way. You're the one that makes those choices. You're the one that needs to stay on track, and we can do this. I'm here for you. I understand your struggles. I had the same struggles, and I still struggle with things. You guys know that. I've talked to you many times before about my struggles since Christmas time, and you know, it's hard. It's very, very hard, right, to get on that bandwagon for weight loss, but you just have to stick to it, stick to your goals, and think about the positive outcome that it will result in. It's very, very hard to think of the outcome, but you need to think of like the long-term goal and what you're doing in order to get to that long-term goal. Okay, so another struggle sometimes that people experience is that they're not losing weight. They come to a stall. So I've done a video on this as well too. I will link that video here. And what I would suggest is just kind of reevaluate overall what you're doing. I would reevaluate your calories, your carbs, your macros, your water intake, your exercise. You may need, if you haven't exercised through your journey, you may start to need to. And as you get lower and lower in weight, that's when the struggle is real, because you're getting closer and closer and you just can't get there. So you might have to tweak a few things in your diet, or I always recommend fasting as well too. Like I said previously, I did for the last 3 months of my weight loss in order to get to goal. I was alternate day fasting for those 3 months in order to get to my goal, because I needed to switch it up because my body was getting too used to what it was eating and the weight just wasn't coming off anymore. I was at a stall. So I switched it up and ended up getting to my goal. That's what worked for me. But your body just gets so used to what it's doing for the last 6 months or a year that you do need to switch it up. So always keep that in mind too if you do struggle and you're at a weight loss plateau, that those sort of things, that's what'll kind of help you in the end as well too, is just to switch it up, change things up a little bit. All right, and another struggle that a lot of people have is that they're not sleeping. So sleeping is very, very important for weight loss. You will see a stall on the scale just because you're not sleeping. So if you have trouble sleeping, especially when you're on keto, try to do like some relaxation, try to get to bed early, have a routine for bedtime as well too. I know for myself, I tend to go to bed pretty early, but I do watch TV, kind of start relaxing, and then I usually try to fall asleep for sure by 10 p.m. I'm getting old, so I think the older that I get, the earlier I end up going to bed. But that's another thing that sometimes people struggle with is sleep, and just kind of the weight loss. I feel like weight loss kind of goes with sleep, and if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to see results on the scale. So make sure you guys are getting enough sleep. It's very, very important for overall health. All right, everyone, that is the end of the video. I hope it gives you some tips on the struggles that you are having. Maybe you're experiencing some of them or all of them. Let me know down below what you struggle with. I always love doing these videos, and I'm here to help you. So that's why I always love your feedback on what you're struggling with or how you're feeling on keto. Like I always say, I've been through it. I've been through weight loss journeys a few times. I've learned a lot along the way. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm not a doctor or nutritionist by any means, but I can at least give some feedback that I've experienced and what has helped me along the way to lose 100 pounds and to now get like close to my goal weight. I've hit my goal weight. Now I'm just going through some struggles that you guys are probably going through as well too. I feel like it's a lifelong journey, unfortunately, that we have to go through this, and it's all about learning. Everybody is completely different. Just because like how I'm feeling and what I'm struggling with may not be what you're struggling with. Everybody kind of goes through different things, but I would love to hear down below if you guys are struggling. So make sure that you hit that red subscribe button, give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and make sure that you're hitting that notification bell so that YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.